Long ago, when the pyramids were still young, Egyptian kings played a game of great and terrible power. But these shadow games erupted into a war which threatened to destroy the entire world, until a brave and powerful pharaoh locked the magic away, imprisoning it within the mystical millennium items. Today's video delves into a rather unconventional topic. It holds a specific place for me because of the profound influence the anime series known as Yu-Gi-Oh! Has had on my life. For those familiar with the series, the initial season of the show revolves around a pharaoh who is transported to the modern world through a mystical artifact called the Millennium Puzzle, shaped like an inverted pyramid. However, the Millennium Puzzle is not just a mystical object, it symbolizes the pharaoh's psyche, as he willingly erased his own memory to prevent the return of Zork, the Dark Lord. In the modern era, the pharaoh aids a young man named Yugi in battling evil forces and becoming the quote-unquote king of games through Duel Monsters. The pharaoh's spirit resides within the puzzle, taking control of Yugi's body during crucial moments, including duels and pivotal events. Eventually, the pharaoh embarks on a journey to ancient Egypt, seeking to regain his memory, discover his true identity, and confront the malevolent force threatening to destroy the world. However, this video diverges from discussing the movie, series, or game itself, focusing instead on the religious elements and their connection to Islamic and biblical sources. Let's make a quick pause. If you enjoy our channel in general, we invite you to consider supporting our channel through Patreon. While this video may not be the sole focus of our channel, your contributions help us maintain a high level of quality and continue to explore new and intriguing subjects. By joining our Patreon community, you become a valued supporter of our creative endeavors, enabling us to produce more engaging and informative content. To be part of our journey and support our broader content endeavors, click the link in the description to join our Patreon community today. Long ago, when the pyramids were still young, Egyptian kings played a game of great and terrible power. But these shadow games erupted into a war which threatened to destroy the entire world, until a brave and powerful pharaoh locked the magic away, imprisoning it within the mystical millennium items. Now, 5,000 years later, a boy named Yugi unlocks the secret of the Millennium Puzzle. He is infused with ancient magical energies, for destiny has chosen him to defend the world from the return of the Shadow Games, just as the brave Pharaoh did 5,000 years ago. While this well-known expression is recognized by nearly every Yu-Gi-Oh! Fan, the truth is confined into its initial sentence only. Each civilization reached its zenith in different domains, such as the Greeks excelling in philosophy and mythology, Romans in territorial conquest, the Jews in medicine, the Arabs in poetry, the Muslims in the realm of science. Ancient Egypt, on the other hand, was associated with dark magic, or perhaps we should say illusions. The origins of magic, according to the Islamic and biblical sources, trace back to ancient Babylon and later expanded significantly in ancient Egypt. Information about the practice of magic was allegedly conveyed by two angels in the city of Babylon as a test. True believers were discouraged from engaging with it, but those who did delve into a wholly new discipline. Magic permeated every corner and aspect of life, including the palace of the pharaoh. Notably, the pharaoh retained the most accomplished magicians in his entourage, which explains the connection between Mahad, who ultimately becomes the dark magician in the series, and his role as the pharaoh's most devoted servant. It is also no coincidence that both the pharaoh and Yugi in modern times wield full decks of spellcasters and magicians, symbolizing the magicians who surrounded the pharaoh and created illusions, either for duels or for Pharaoh's entertainment. As for Duel Monsters, while monsters were not summoned and portrayed in the movie's fiction, they were created through magical tricks and illusions. Egyptian magicians would pit these quote-unquote summoned creatures against each other. The most famous and original quote-unquote duel in history occurred between Moses and Pharaoh Ramses and his magicians. Moses challenged them and triumphed in their own game, while the magicians crafted illusions such as the illusion of turning staffs into snakes. Moses miraculously transformed his staff into a genuine serpent. Technically, Moses did not practice magic, as true magic involves deceiving the senses and consciousness, whereas Moses' staff genuinely transformed into a snake. The Quran explicitly states, "Then we inspired Moses, throw down your staff, and, behold, it devoured the objects of their illusion." This brings us to the significance of staffs turning into snakes. Does it ring any bells? Let's delve deeper. It's not mere happenstance that the most prominent servant of the pharaoh in the series is the dark magician, depicted holding a staff, a quintessential Egyptian illusionist symbol. Islamic sources also mention the staff transforming into a serpent. Allah added, "And what is that in your right hand, O Moses?" He replied, "It is my staff. I lean on it, and with it I beat down branches for my sheep and have other uses for it." Allah said, "Throw it down, O Moses." So he did. Then, behold, it became a serpent, slithering. In contrast, Bakura, the spirit of the Dark Lord in the series, possesses a creature called Diabound, a living manifestation of a giant green serpent. While the perspective presented in the movie portrays Bakura as the antagonist and the pharaoh as the protagonist, from the standpoint of Islamic and biblical sources, Moses challenging the pharaoh and his magicians in their own arena is the true quote-unquote king of games, with the pharaoh as the arrogant and cruel antagonist. Interestingly, Bakura in ancient Egypt dons a red to brownish attire, which aligns with how biblical artists often depict the prophet Moses. It is important to note that I'm not suggesting Bakura is Moses or the pharaoh Atem is Ramses II. Rather, I propose that the Japanese anime draws inspiration from powerful ancient history that shaped future civilizations. The theme of staffs and snakes is not exclusive to Yu-Gi-Oh! Even Harry Potter's Slytherin house is based on similar concepts. Furthermore, the renegade priest and Seto's father in ancient Egypt bear the intriguing name of Master Akhenaten, perhaps a nod to Akhenaten. Akhenaten was not a servant but a pharaoh himself, known for introducing a form of monotheism where he worshipped a single god while acknowledging the existence of other deities. For those who stayed with us until the end, here's an intriguing bonus coincidence. The pharaoh, who sealed away the dark magic and had to erase his own memory, used his name as a key to recover his lost past. By rediscovering his name, he could regain his complete memory and recall details from his past 5 millennia. This concept resonates with the practice of magic where in occultism, a genie or a jinn often requires names of its victims to carry out its actions, subject to divine permission, of course. Magic isn't merely about optical illusions. It delves into deep and dark occult arts, laden with risks and contracts with jinn. Believers are strongly advised to avoid it unless they are willing to venture into a perilous realm. While the Japanese series doesn't delve deeply into this aspect, the idea of using one's name as a key to break a powerful spell is indeed fascinating. Perhaps it was inspired by modern concepts of passcodes and passphrases, where names are frequently employed as keywords. Arguably, the most significant difference between Islamic sources and the movie lies in the portrayal of pure and light magic versus evil or dark magic, suggesting a dichotomy between good and evil forms of magic. Such a distinction does not exist in Islamic tradition. Both evil and good magic are considered forbidden. I hope you have enjoyed today's video, which takes us beyond the ordinary. This exploration, driven by my relatively deep knowledge of Islamic tradition and my childhood love for Yu-Gi-Oh!, has uncovered intriguing connections involving pharaohs, magicians, illusions, and the Islamic figure of Moses, all set against the backdrop of ancient Egypt. This convergence of modern entertainment and ancient history showcases the enduring appeal of timeless themes in storytelling. To stay connected and be part of our ongoing adventures in uncovering these fascinating links, remember to like, share, and subscribe. Your support fuels our quest to dive deeper into the intersection of fiction and reality. Thank you for joining us on this journey.